What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Troy King, aka T King Mode, and today I have a very special guest with me, my friend Tara Victoria. Now, Tara, she's a superstar. She's an upcoming superstar in this industry, and she's part of a million places. But I wanted to let her do the honors of introducing herself and telling y'all where you need to follow her, all the places she works at. So, Tara, it's your lead.
Thank you. That is an honor coming from you, Troy. So yeah, of course, guys, the place to catch everything that I do is on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at It's Terra Time, Terra being Tera. But content with Fantasy Pros, Fantasy Alarm, Awesemo, and then Dynasty Vipers as well. So yeah, it's good. It's a good group. But I mean, guys, I'm putting out waiver content, start sets, lives. Just a good place to go to my Twitter and catch a lot of variety of content.
Oh no, that's awesome. And again, Tara's a great follow. And also I love following her on TikTok too. So if you're into TikTok, make sure you follow her. She's a great follow. So today we're gonna talk about the Thursday night game. It was incredible. It started off the first half, unfortunately started out with some injuries. We're thinking about Donald Parham, that scary injury, and also just a slow start in general. It was a little bit sloppy, but Tara, tell me about, I'm going to go into all the stats and everything, but tell
Yeah.
me about, what you thought of the game. It was exciting. Oh, by the way, the Chiefs, to talk about it, the Chiefs beat the LA Chargers in overtime 34-28. So Tara, tell me what you thought about the game, the standout performances. There's a lot of them, but the floor is yours to talk about all of it.
I think this game was the best example of why we say start your studs. It doesn't matter if you've got guys that are coming off of bad weeks. Travis Kelsey had put up several duds. We had Tyreek that has come off a bad performance as well. Patrick Mahomes been a little shaky at times, but still a fantastic quarterback. And then you look over at the Chargers end. I mean, we've got Keenan Allen that was coming off the COVID list. I know sometimes people worry about how that affects, the player conditioning as well. And Austin Eckler, who was reported to be, possibly a little bit limited, and he was. Justin Jackson honestly looked fantastic. That was kind of good to see because we've always kind of felt like there wasn't really a guy behind Eckler that you could point to and say, in the event that he goes down, it's going to be this direction or what happens in the future. So it was good to see Justin Jackson come through. But again, even with Austin Eckler being limited, even with the injury, he still pulled through from a fantasy perspective as he always does. So, it's just the prime example of if you've got these players, even if they've been struggling, even if they're having injuries, possible limitations, you have to go with them. Look last week to Dalvin Cook. You can't let those things fear you. You got to take the risk because these are the type of players that are going to get you those fantastic boom games and literally drag your team through the playoffs.
Honestly, no, that's just great analysis, and you're 100% correct. I agree with everything you said, and it's funny you mentioned Justin Jackson. Like, yeah, and it was the one time where the coaching staff, well, maybe not the one time, but they said that he wasn't going to get full workload. But Austin Eckler, he got in the end zone, right? We saw what they did when they're trying to, use Josh Kelly on the goal line, and obviously we saw that, it was a disaster. But Justin Jackson actually out carried Austin Eckler, 13-12, and again, he just didn't score any more yards. He had 86 yards on the ground, which so Justin Jackson, he had a fantastic performance. And just talking about just Patrick Mahomes, like you said, he threw for 410 yards, 3 touchdowns. I know he's been kind of not his usual Patrick Mahomes self most of the season, but it was incredible to see him doing his thing. And obviously, Justin Herbert, he's been killing it recently. 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, he looked great. And Keenan Allen, again, for whatever reason, Keenan Allen's not known to be a touchdown guy. So I always get extra happy when I see him scoring. He was 6 for 78 and a touchdown. Mike Williams, he got a little bit banged up, but he still finished with a decent stat line given that he missed so much time. He got three receptions, 49 yards. And then Travis Kelsey, oh my gosh, 10 receptions, 191 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Again, I'm going against him in a couple leagues, so I'm using this as a therapy session. I'm stressed out about it. And lastly, just like Tara was talking about, Tyreek Hill, 12 for 148 yards and a touchdown. Just all this stuff. Pretty much everyone went off. Everyone that you wanted to go off went off, and it was just an incredible performance. And so now that we talked about that, right? So look, and then it was nothing to complain about. And again, I was saying how like the first half was a little. I didn't know what to expect from the first half, right? I was going to halftime expecting it to be a shootout the second half, and it just came to fruition. But now that we, talked about this game, it's still the fantasy playoffs, right? Even if you're going against
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, there's still hope, right? We don't give up. Not in the first round of fantasy playoffs. So Tara, what if you were going against Travis Kelce, which I know you are in one league?
Yes.
What is something that to ease some managers' minds, right? You might not be able to overcome it, but what are you doing in this situation? You staying calm? Are you making like extra waiver wire moves if you don't have a trade deadline? Are you trying to make trades to try to compensate for it? Like, what strategy would you advise other people to do, like in this particular situation?
I'm staying the course because the thing about this is that while there's a guy who had the, probably what will be the most ridiculous boom game of the week, there's no reason that your player can't almost get to that level, or maybe you have two players that can compensate for that. So you just never really know exactly how it'll shake out. They could have a player that comes down and literally gets 0 points and has a complete bust game. So kind of look at that and like, maybe the only thing that I might possibly do, or if I'm maybe if I have a flex decision where I'm sitting here and I'm struggling between two players and I'm like, do I go with this guy who has the safe floor option, or do I go with like, okay, let's maybe talk about like Buffalo maybe. And you look at Buffalo and you say, all right, Emmanuel Sanders is out. Do I go with Cole Beasley or am I going with Gabe Davis? Cole Beasley is a very safe option. He's probably going to get you he's a guarantee in terms of your floor. Maybe you want to get a little risky and you think that those touchdowns are going to go to Gabe Davis. And you say, hey, maybe this is a situation where Gabe Davis, he's been he's been very highly targeted in the red zone. He's has 4 touchdowns on the year. So maybe it can be like a nice little 2-touchdown game, a decent yardage game, and some, decent PPR points as well. So, that's really maybe where I would be sitting there trying to maybe go with an upside decision. But for the most part, I'm just going to stay the course, not panic. I'll be a little sad about it. Because when I opened my app and I saw the scoring in one league, I was like 41 points. how do you overcome 41 points? That's like insanity. But you can. I promise, you can.
Honestly, and that's true, right? It's like, to me, it's similar to like the Jonathan Taylor game when he went off. Like, I actually had a league where I was able to overcome it, right? And just like you said, Tara, you gotta stay the course. And yeah, it's really about upside, right? And also with your bench, you should be playing for depth. You should be playing for just upside. And that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about, right? So even like, let's say after this week, people advance. Do you have a specific strategy? Like, do you load up on defenses? Do you have like extra running backs? Like, how do you handle it in terms of like your rostership?
Yeah, so I probably, maybe you can look one ahead on defense, but I wouldn't go I wouldn't go too far beyond that. I do probably want to go with some depth at running back. Maybe there's some high upside receivers that you can add on there. I think we kind of got into a weird situation here with all this COVID stuff where we're looking at our rosters and we might have to make some tough decisions in terms of guys that we're adding off of waivers to plug in. So I think you want to go with those guys that can be those reliable, high upside guys on your bench. Maybe add a defense, but don't go too crazy trying to stack them up for like I need the week 16, I need the week 17 guy. Just get ahead, but not too far ahead.
No, I 100% agree. And I'm the same way, right? Like you want to look for the future, but at the same time, like don't go crazy. And again, right now, like I'm trying to get handcuffs, right? If there's an Alexander Madison or if there's an AJ Dillon or and then they're more highly owned, but even if there's like a Khalil Herbert, like just anyone who if we've seen them step into the role like Samaje Perine, those are a couple names where you could just put them on your bench right now, just in case, right? We don't hope for injury, but we want to be prepared for it just in case.
Yes.
And well, guys, that's all I really got for today. I'm just so happy that I finally got to collab with my friend Tara. And before we go, Tara, I just want y'all to just let everybody know where they can find you again, what you're working on, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter. My name is like the misspelled name in theory, so you have to make sure it's Tara Time, ITSTERA time. So yeah, the best place to find me. I'm trying to post my content there as much as I can remember on a regular basis, daily. But yeah, I've still got a couple videos coming out. Had a DFS video just hit today. If you want to check that out. deep waiver videos that might be very helpful as that are probably going to come out, I think, sometime tomorrow. So if you want to check that out, I know that we're kind of struggling here with trying to, what do we do with all these plugins with COVID and everything. So deep waiver videos. And then I'll be live on Sunday as well at 11 a.m. Eastern time on the Fantasy Pros TikTok. So yeah, just head over to my Twitter and check me out over there. Thanks, Troy.
Of course, no problem. Make sure y'all do that right after listening to this. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I appreciate the support. Make sure you go like and subscribe to the YouTube page. You can find it at either Troy King T King mode, or just type in T King mode and you'll find me at every social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter's the home base. But again, thank y'all so much. I hope you have yourselves a great day. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, anything you celebrate. Have a good one, y'all.